two 15-minute setups that I want to show you guys. These are two very simple 15-minute strategies. We're going to talk about it right here in this video this morning. The opening range breakout and then the middle of the day 15-minute bounce, the overall strategy, how you can look for these opportunities. We saw the same opportunity yesterday in the middle of the day. Let's break it down, baby. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Patrick here. Today we're talking about the 15-minute chart. I really want to put emphasis on the 15-minute chart because I believe that if you really want to maximize your profits, you want to be able to control getting in, getting out, and knowing when to kind of look for the right opportunities to trade, the 15-minute chart really is the probably most powerful chart when it comes to the smaller time frames. 15 minutes might not seem like a small time frame, but when you're only looking at the 1 minute time frame, you're only looking at the 2 minute or the 3 minute, you can get lost. You can get lost in all of the noise. The nice thing about the 15-minute chart is it's a very, I would say, overall clean setup type of chart. The time frame, you go 15 minute, 30 minute, the hourly, but the 15-minute chart is really kind of optimized for day trading. You're looking to figure out where the resistance is, where the overall market is headed. You should be focusing on your idea of where to enter, where to take profit based on the 15-minute chart. Let's dive into the 15-minute chart right here. All right, 15-minute chart. All right, pulling up the 15-minute chart here on the NASDAQ. This morning, we had a beautiful move. It was pretty choppy. That first 15-minute candle, we broke to the downside here just to show you guys. We had the 15-minute range. We broke to the downside through this. We had a pivot point there at the 46s. We also had this 127 level. That was the previous day low. Anytime that we have an opportunity to test that previous day low, I like to think that it's going to get tested. And that's exactly what we had. We had the break from the 180s. We talked about it on the live stream, getting below the 90s. This big move down, the pivot point there at the 47s. We talked about all of this before it happened on the live stream. So please tune in 9:15 a.m. if you want to see this in action while we're doing it live. But here we go. We have the 15-minute chart. We go to the 1 minute chart just to show you guys how beautiful this breakdown really was. 15-minute chart kind of chopping around, and there's our opening range breakdown. This breakdown below the low of the 15-minute candle. We pushed up, we chopped around, and then we broke. We just broke right down there from the 78s, a little pushback up. If you're getting short, let's say you got short of the 78s, your risk is kind of like the top of that candle there, 84s. And look at the high on this candle right here, 81s. So you would not have been stopped out. And look at this move down. You could play this two different ways. You could play it to try to get the retest of the opening range to get retested, or you can jump right in when the market then breaks, because this move alone would have went from 78s all the way down there to the 55s before pushing back up for the retest. So you could have jumped in there. You could have maybe added again, whatever you want, but you can play it however you want. But clearly you can see the 15-minute opening range paying the bills today. Very simple. You wait for the first 15-minute candle to close. You then have your opening range, and you can see right there at 9:45, we ended up breaking right through there and going all the way down to Party Town. So about 100-point move. 100-point move here, my friends, in a matter of 15 minutes on the NASDAQ today. So don't tell me that this setup doesn't work. Don't tell me this strategy does not work. Oh, that strategy's just in hindsight. No, clearly it works. We talked about it live on YouTube in this idea of selling through the previous day low. So the previous day low is that blue line going across there. We're using the Lux Algo indicators on there, the price concepts, and you can see this move down. Bam, 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 all the way down there to the 70s. So a 100-point move there on the opening range breakdown right there. 15-minute chart, you gotta love it. All right, the next 15-minute setup of the day that I really like today, and we talked about it a bunch on Twitter actually, was this move right here. So we push up off of this low, we kind of put in a higher low. What are we identifying? We're identifying this is the low, all right? This is our low. We have 2 wicks on the bottom of that low. Perfect, okay, we know that. And then guess what? We have a pivot point right here. Well, what happens here? We just put in a higher low. What happened here? We just put in a higher low. What is that telling me? That there's a good chance that we're probably gonna push this way. Because if we put in a higher low here, we put in a higher low here, we got the pivot point right there. We got support. We got support. Look at the smaller time frames. We had the VWAP up at the 115s, kind of up in this area where that previous day low was. Talked about it live on Twitter. So this is not just me in hindsight talking about this, but showing you guys these setups there on the 15-minute chart and why you should really be focused on at least keeping an eye on the 15-minute chart. If you're only entering trades based on the 1 minute or the 2 minute or the 5-minute chart, guys, zoom out. Look at the bigger picture, my friends. Look at the bigger picture and look for these better opportunities. So there's our higher low, higher low, higher low. We got the pivot point. What's the idea here? Very simple. You know, this is what we talk about in the Market Flow Trader community, in the course, in the videos. Market Flow Trader community members crush this trade right here. This is a beautiful setup. And really the way you want to play this is just basically looking for a breakout here. We had a little bit of a pushback up here, but just not enough to get going. You wanted that kind of bounce right there off of the 40s, off of that pivot point, and then there's that break to the upside. And from the 60s all the way up there to almost, the 50s? So about another 100-point move back up there on the 15-minute chart alone. And look at this pullback right now. We got that pivot point right there, the 148s. Do not tell me these pivot points do not pay. The pivot points, another 100-point move from this pivot point to this pivot point. What a time to be alive, right? Very simple strategy. You can see it here on the 15-minute chart. Also, I've been using this new indicator or been kind of messing around with it. This is the breaker blocks from Lux Algo as well, another free indicator. And you can see this was actually kind of identified for the setup. We had this breaker block here, the push back up, ding, 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 and it gave me a target of this kind of 120, 140 area there. And look at that move, the breakout and off to the races. So again, the 15-minute chart kind of giving us an idea of what we should be looking for in terms of looking for the dip, looking for the push back up. Look at that, all the way back down to that pivot point now. So really interesting move here, actually. And overall, the market is up, down, all around. Lots of volatility today. I mean, this move from here to here happened in about an hour. This move from here to here happened about in 30 minutes. We had about 3 or 4 hours of just sideways crappy action. But then right from here for about 30 minutes, about an hour from that pivot point to that pivot point. So lots of action here. 15-minute chart. Pull it up, my friends. Tune in 9:15 a.m. We're doing this every morning and talking about all this. Also on the ES today, very similar type of setups. We had the 15-minute range breakdown, very much the similar kind of setups and moves today on the ES as the NASDAQ. The moral of the story is very simple. Look at the bigger time frames. Focus on the 15-minute chart to figure out what the direction is, where you should be looking to buy. Is there support? Is there resistance? Is it breaking out? Is it still trending lower? Is it trending higher? Is it putting in higher lows? If it's putting in higher lows, well, guess what? It's bullish. If it's putting in lower highs, well, then it's bearish, right? Like, look at the overall trend. Look at the movement in the market. Don't rely solely on the idea like you think the market's going to go higher, it's going to go lower. Like, just look at the 15-minute chart and be like, hey, there's a pivot point. There's a reason for this to bounce. Like, okay, they're, high or low. Okay, cool. Like, we're breaking out. Okay, I think it's going to go higher. Like, there you go. Focus on the 15-minute chart. Focus on the setups. Focus on your discipline. And there you are. And then there you have it. If you guys haven't already hit that like button, subscribe button, I hope you have. I will see you guys live 9:15 a.m. I will see you guys live 9:15 a.m. right here on YouTube. Peace.